So I think the metaphor I was going to get at that's been helpful that you maybe it was last year, 2 years ago, that you kind of put in my mind was how Christians need to be thinking about our own institutions in this fight. And I think, I grew up in the PCA. A lot of my friends in Texas kind of grew up in the SBC circles. And this also kind of goes into your point about, like, man, these institutions really have gained and earned our distrust in some sense. But you said we need to think more like pirate ships and less like building memorials. And I think that really stuck with me, because I kind of look around and, in some sense, Ligonier is already kind of a memorial to R.C. Sproul. Like, in some sense, they're kind of done fighting. And, probably shortly after, I hope this doesn't happen, but same thing with John MacArthur. When he, goes to be with the Lord, how quickly are they going to start playing it safe to protect John MacArthur's name, that kind of thing? And they already are.
And we know secrets.
Tell us more.
So being like pirate ships, whatever we do, we know that God's built us and built our institutions for dying for the good of the church, dying for the good. We know that God's going to raise up, and what we give our life for, He raises up. So how should we be thinking about building institutions these next 20 years or so in this chaos, or in this upheaval that you see coming, in a way that we aren't being like Darren's metaphor, or not metaphor, but Darren's comments about being precious with what we're doing.
I'll tie this back into what Toby said a little bit ago. One of the biggest lies, bigger than wokeism, bigger than all the garbage that's come out in the last 50 years, you go back to Christian institutions buying into this Darwinist goal of survival, and that survival is the good. Yeah, that is, and just get it into
surviving for surviving's sake, kind of thing.
Having survived. Yep. And especially on an institutional level, it is the most dangerous paradigm, the most dangerous lie you could possibly embrace is trying to survive. And just get it into your heads and into your bones that survival is not the goal. The goal is not survival. It just isn't. It never has been. The goal for your kids is not that they will survive. Like, that's not the goal. The goal for your institutions is that they would honor God. They would glorify God. And if they end in a blaze glorifying God. That's right. You'd much rather have things exist faithfully until they reach a natural mortal end than just exist and exist past the point of rot and decay. And they turn into that weird mummified granny that the Incan tribe still carries around. Just can we just move on? Can we actually just go full send? It is the worst news that there is that we're supposed to imitate God, and that's terrible. Just like that's
imitate Jesus.
Yeah, imitate the Father. Yeah. We're supposed to be like Christ, but we're also supposed to be like the Father. So He sent His only begotten Son, His beloved Son, and He sent Him to die in His 30s. And we're like, well, I want my kids to live past 100. I want them to like pay attention to Dave Ramsey and have great, financial stability. No, like that's just not the goal. It's not the goal at all. Now we all want our kids to have like quiet and peaceable lives. We want ourselves to have that, but more than that, we want them to glorify God in their moment, glorify God in their relationships and in everything they do. And so with institutions, there's this immediate reflex that happens pretty quickly on boards and in leadership to be constantly seeking the ease of the institution, right. to be trying to make your K through 12 school back home, your homeschool co-op, to have it continue to exist. That's just not the goal. Like, for anything we make, all the things we make are mortal. We can't get to immortality through having built the best homeschool co-op in Cincinnati. We can't do it. So, build one, do it, use it, but every day you got to be ready to sail that pirate ship right into the British fleet and go down in flames. You just got to be ready to do it. And you can't start regulating your use of it by the Darwinian survival rubric at all. And that's the most dangerous thing, because we want it to last. I want Logos School to last, But I always want Logos School to be in the fight.
That's right.
And I don't ever want it ducking the fight because it needs to keep existing.
Right.
Like, and there's a chance of taking casualties. There's a chance of losing. It's like when you're on Omaha Beach and you're in that amphibious craft, you're looking around at your buddies and you know you're not all making it out.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
Right.
And yet this is valuable and this is what we're doing and this is where we're going and we will take casualties. So realizing that our institutions are just as mortal as we are, they might have slightly longer lifespans, and wanting them not to die in unfaithfulness, like preferring the death to come.
That's right.
And that-
in the faithful fight.
And that is, I mean, that is the answer to the black pill.
Yep.
Like that is the opposite, that's the polar opposite of the black pill. It says, this is my Father's world. He owns this place.
Yeah.
He sent his son died, his son rose again, his son is at the right hand of the Father. And so now we build and fight and live to his glory, and we trust him to use us in the way that he sees fit. That's not boring.
Yeah.
That's the most exciting life there is.
And there is ice cream.
And there is ice cream.